Good afternoon, guys. How are you today? I hope your day is fantastic. Hey, my name's Lisa Keegan and I am here today to show you some skills and tips for your Thermomix, or maybe if you're watching along and you don't have a Thermomix, to show you what it can do to transform your kitchen. Now, I'm making a bit of a, I guess you could say, a medium complexity recipe today. It's got 3 different elements I want to show you, and I want to show you how easy it is, because it really is easy once you know how. So I hope for those of you who have a Thermomix, you can give this a go and let me know what you think when you do. This is the, I don't know how you pronounce this, Tarte Bourguignonne something or other. Okay, pretty much we're going to make pastry, we're making a beautiful mince filling, and we're making beautiful white sauce. So I'm going to do this all in about 10 minutes, and this is the ease of the Thermomix. Admittedly, I'll show you between 2 Thermomixes because I'm going to cut out at cook time so that you guys can see how it all works in together, and then you guys can do it as well. So let's go straight to start cooking. By the way, this is on your cookie dough platform and it says grease a loaf tin, a tart tin. I'm going to do something a bit different with baking paper, so come along and see that in a second. First things first is 85 grams of cold butter. Cold is important when it comes to pastry, and it's something I don't have the luxury of when I'm traveling in my caravan because the fridge isn't very cold. So I'm just going to work with what I've got. It was a little bit more than that then, but doesn't matter. Close enough is certainly good enough when it comes to the Thermomix. Say hi if you're watching today as well, guys. I'd love to know if you're watching on. If you've sorted dinner, let me know. I know I'm coming to you early today. I had to capture this little gap of time here while the kids were happy with hubby. And that's the beauty of Thermomix cooking, is really you can capture your times, your little bits of time, and put them to work for you. And it doesn't cost you extra time because you can literally just put it on and it's just so easy. So watch this in a second. So was it the 1 teaspoon? I'm just guesstimating 1 teaspoon of salt, and on with the lid. This is pastry done in seconds in a moment. So it's got 5 seconds up to speed 5. Just got some baking paper. I've got 2 sheets. Okay, click on next. Now it wants some ice cold water. Do I have that? Oh, I do. Alright, it's quite hot where we are at the moment, so the kids have been going through a fair bit of this stuff, hence the little mini panic. I didn't get that out before. Alright, 100 grams. Let's put that in. You know what, I'm going to go a bit short, only because I've got gluten-free flour today. So if you are gluten-free, you can certainly make this recipe with GF flour. I'm just going to go 60 because it's easier to add more water than it is to wish you could take some out. So I'm just going to do that. Give it 50 seconds to knead. If you are cooking along later, get your 2 sheets of baking paper ready to wrap your dough in and actually shape it with. It makes things so much easier. So this is coming together. Because I did shortcut that water, I'm just going to have a sticky beak and see if it's coming together. It is starting to come together. I'm going to put a little bit more in. Probably another 20 grams I put in. And I'm watching it come together. Over time, because the butter softens, it does get clumpier and together more, which is what we want. We want it to start looking like cauliflower florets in there. That's your tip to know that it's ready. Mine's actually going past cauliflower florets. Probably also because mine is quite soft because the butter's soft. But I've shortcutted it early. That's the beauty of guided cooking. And look at that. Can you guys see pastry in your Thermomix? Now, I do apologise. I am going to just wiggle the camera down, that top camera, and see if I can show you this here. So I'm going to put it on 1 piece of baking paper. It's a square baking paper piece that'll fit inside my tin later. Now turn the little dial on the bottom. Golly gosh, I hope you guys can see this. I actually can't see if this is coming live to you guys. I really hope it is. So, pastry, it's a short pastry, and it is coming out of the Thermomix right now. I'm getting an error on my screen. Gosh, I hope this is showing. What I'm going to do though is I'm actually going to, excuse me while I fuss around for a second, just in case you guys can't see this, I'm going to hit the record button as well, so at least I can put it up later if this doesn't go live to you guys. Just taking a glance at the computer. Now I'm going to put this bowl aside because I'm going to use this later to actually make the white sauce, because white sauce is made up of flour and butter, which are those ingredients we've just put in there. So 2 seconds while I hit this recording button, just in case this isn't working. Alright, so we've got this pastry on the mat here. You guys can see it. We just push it together, and I'm actually going to come back and show you how to use this pastry in a second once we get the cooking step done on the next part of the recipe. So I have the luxury of a second bowl. I'm just going to swap one in, one out, because I want to save that second bowl that has that flour and stuff in it. I want to save that for the white sauce. So it tells you how to roll it out. Let's go next. It tells you to pre-cook it, and we'll do that later too. So next up, it grates some cheese. Now those of you who watch along would know that when I get a block of cheese, I actually grate it all, okay, and then it's ready to go. It's in the freezer in a Glad bag so I can knock those particles apart and use it when I need it. So I don't need to grate it, so that's awesome. I can just go next. Transfer to a bowl and set aside. Okay, here we go. Cooking parts coming up. So 300 grams of onions quartered. I've just got one brown onion today, and I'm not even going to worry about bringing up that weight. I do, like it would normally be a second one. Don't worry about it. 30 grams of oil. This is going to be what it cooks off in a minute. And lastly will be some salt. Now I'm going to, instead of putting salt in, I'm actually going to put veggie stock later. So I'll skip this fine salt at the moment, and I'll come back and add veggie stock later. It's a bit of an interesting one that they add salt so early on in the piece. Oh, you guys can't see this. Squizzy around. It's my mistake. Sorry, guys. So it asked for 300, just to backtrack on that because you might not have seen it. It asked for 300 grams of onion. I put 150 in. I did do the right amount of oil, and I skipped the salt. Okay, let's chop it. 5 seconds, speed 5. Alright. Let's go next. Scrape down the sides with a spatula. Insert the measuring cup, and now it's going to cook this off for 5 minutes. So I'm just going to spin this up to slow stir, and it's going to take care of that for us. Now the beauty of this is now I've got time to play with this pastry. Now in case the recording's not working, the Facebook Live's not working, which maybe it's not, for those of you who are now watching on afterwards, you missed the beginning because my computer wasn't working. I just made a pastry. It's butter, it's flour, it's salt, it's water. Really easy. Important key part though, and I use gluten-free flour, key part is to make sure your butter is cold. Now while that's happening there and it's doing its little countdown, I am going to now, I've put a second piece of baking paper on top, and I'm going to press this out using my rolling pin. Now I'm a little bit tight on space here in my caravan, especially when I'm trying to film it for you guys. But all I do here is actually push it around to the outside and rotate it round. So you guys can see that on the screen. And this is the Tarte Bourguignonne or something or other that I can't pronounce. That's what we're in the middle of making here if you've just joined us. Do say hi if you're watching, if you know what you're having for dinner. I'd love to know. Let's inspire each other. So I'm just pushing this out. I am using GF. It does respond a little different to your straight flour. So round we go. I do hope those of you on Facebook Live can see the video today. I do hope that the internet is good enough. Always a bit of a challenge when you're coming on the road. Don't realise how good you've got it at home. Alright, there we go. So I've got a big circle. It is quite rustic. Rustic is perfectly okay. You can take that top off, reposition it if you need to. That onion smells absolutely amazing. Oh, just dropped some on the floor. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get our Tarte container. This is just a springform one. I think it's actually from some Spotlight, maybe. Just lay your top layer in. Let me just check you guys can see me. And take your top layer off. Or you might even push it down before you take the top layer off. But the trick to pushing it down without cracking it is to actually lift the sides as you go. So lift them so they drop into the tray. Okay, I love it when I don't need to get my hands dirty, which is just a win for me. And now we just take the top layer off. If you want to trim it down, now's your time with your knife to go around the edge and trim it down. But how easy is that? And now it goes in an oven for, was it 20 minutes? To just par cook it. I'm actually going to skip that. Mainly because my oven's not hot and ready to go yet. So I'm just going to omit that, which is a bit like the quiche Lorraine. You'll find similar to the quiche Lorraine in making that pastry. So that's good and ready to go. 2 minutes left on here. 2 or 3 ingredients left to go as well in this step. We're going to put into this very shortly just get that camera right for you guys again. We're going to put into that our mince, and we're going to put into that some veggie stock and some, what's this called? Pepper. They're our last couple of ingredients required in this step. So I really want to shortchange this cook-off step. I really, really do. Then what we're going to do once we've got that meat in cooking is I'm going to transfer it to my spare Thermomix over here. So if you continue to cook, then I'm going to bring back my pastry bowl. I'm going to start cooking that for you. Mainly because I want to show you all in this short time the different components. In your kitchen though, you can go off and do housework or have a drink with the neighbours, whatever you want to do while the Thermomix is cooking. You do not have to sit and babysit the Thermomix, which is awesome. Alright, so at 100 degrees, I am going to shortcut that step because I also only had half as much onion in there. Now it's sizzling away. I can smell it. I think the haze is coming through. You guys are getting a bit hazy there. Spread the softened onions onto the pastry base for creating the first layer. So there you go. Look at those onions. They smell divine. Now, I'm tempted to actually, I'm going to let mine cool, guys. And this might be a tip for you as well, because two things. My pastry's not cooked yet, and it would be fine if I was going to put it into a hot oven, but the moment I put a hot food on top of that pastry, it's just going to melt that butter. So I would highly suggest take a time out to actually put it aside, or even still, put it in the meat mix. What does it matter if that becomes part of your savory mince part in a second? But anyway, I've now taken it aside, so let's just hang tight on that. Okay, 400 grams of beef mince. Now you can mince your own meat in the Thermomix, right? A couple of cubes of, say, rump steak or rib that doesn't have too much fat and sinew in there. Hit the turbo button 3 or 4 times, so you've got mince ready to go. How cool is that? I don't have that luxury at the moment. We're in the middle of pretty much nowhere, so meat is really expensive. So mince is actually significantly cheaper, probably because I don't use the best parts in it. But anyway, that's another story. Let's put the 400 grams in. Make sure you break it up into clumps. And a little tip, we're only going to cook this for 7 minutes. 7 minutes is long enough. A lot of people have come to me over the years saying my mince gets really soft. How do I fix it? And the trick is you got to watch it. You got to stop it nelly early. The moment mince gets to cooked, you're going to find that it just disintegrates and you end up with a paste, which no one wants a pasty spaghetti bolognese. So do keep an eye, really close eye on your mince. Okay, half a teaspoon of salt. This is where we're putting in our veggie stock. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of veggie stock. And last up, some pepper. And then this is going to cook for 7 minutes. This is where I'm actually going to squizzy it over to the other thermi, just so that I can show you guys the white sauce to finish off. By the way, a perk of being a consultant is definitely a second thermi on the bench. You will be able to earn one over time, even things like bowls and stuff. And those of you in Queensland, if you've ever thought about becoming a consultant, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Those in Australia, reach out as well, even if you're not Queensland. I'd love to have a conversation with you about that and see if it's something you want to do, because it's been a game changer for us. I can guarantee that without the Thermomix business for 7.5 years, there's no way I'd be travelling in my caravan around Queensland now. So pretty grateful. All right, 40 grams of plain flour. In this goes. I wonder if I've got enough. Now I'm using gluten-free again, guys. Perfectly fine swap. Whoa, I love it when that happens. Empty packet. Okay, 40 grams of butter. Just grab the butter here. Now this is going to cook. One of my favorite things about Thermomixing is the fact that, move that chopping board out of the way, no lumps in your white sauce. Do you guys remember before you had a Thermomix and how you have to stand at the stove and make sure you stirred it fast enough to get rid of the lumps? Not with a Thermomix. It does it all for you. Alright, close enough. And we're nearly done. So this is how easy it is to make the 3 components that make up, we are going to put salt on this one, guys, not stock in this one. The 3 components that make up this recipe. Now, by the way, that was oat milk you may have just seen me put in. We try and be dairy free as much as possible. Those of you who have been following on for a long time would know it doesn't always happen. But at the moment, one of my guys is really suffering. He had a milkshake the other day and that was not a great idea. So we're kind of reducing it. There will be the parmesan on top, but it significantly brings down the amount in there. So measuring cup on, and this has 6 minutes 90 degrees and up to speed. So 7 minutes in that one, 6 minutes in this one. So at home you would have 7 minutes cook time over there, which would be happening. You'd go do something else, come back, put this in, another 6 minute cook time. Then what's going to happen? So your onion is going to go in your tart shell. Then your mince mix is going to go on top. Then your white sauce is going to go on top. And you're going to then put the beautiful cheese on top. Whoa, where did that go? Went too fast. Then you're going to cook it for 40 minutes to brown it all up beautifully and get it all cooked in there as well. As I said, today I'm shortcutting. I am going to, once this onion's a bit cool, I'm just actually going to chuck the onion in the bottom. I do think you could certainly just leave the onion in with the meat. What does it matter? It won't matter. It's all going to combine together. But hey, I think the thing is this is supposed to be layers, and that's what it would do. So it is, yeah, 40 minutes, 200 degrees, and serve. I'm putting butter on my face. Serve hot or cold with a salad. So give this recipe a go. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the 3 different components. How easy it is to make pastry. Hopefully that recorded. How easy it is to make white sauce. How easy it is to make mince, and some tips around that mince. Keep an eye on it. Is my biggest bit of advice for that. But I will share the picture with you at the end. if you'd like help with anything regarding your Thermomix or getting one on your bench, or please tell friends and family about your Thermomix and your amazing consultant who inspires you live from everywhere, or if you'd like information about doing what I do, please do reach out. I'd love to get you that information. No pressure ever though. That's the thing I love about Thermomix, right? Is it's got to be the right time for you. So take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now, guys.